James Jones, decade in the league, Super Bowl champ, led the Packers his last year in touchdowns, receiving yards.
Man,
even on the way out of town, you were
still
delivering.
Be playing, huh?
It's funny. We were talking about this during the break.
Yeah.
The advantage to having an old team, experience. You don't have to install anything.
Yep.
It's these guys know how to win.
No doubt.
Situationally, they're usually great. You don't have, these guys on third down, fourth down, goal line. The downside is guys start looking at that clock and start going, I want to make sure I get one more deal.
No doubt.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise this offseason.
Man.
Now go to your oldest Packer team.
Yeah.
You look at the world a little differently.
You do. Because I remember when we were real young, Greg Jennings not up for no contract, myself not up for no contract, Jordy Nelson not up for no contract, Jermichael Finley. We all just sitting here like, man, we just got drafted. We playing football. We care about none of this.
That's the current Packer team.
Yeah, are we supposed to be winning? Should we be winning? We don't know. We just out here playing. So, it's just a different type of energy. As you get up there in years, you're like, okay, man, that Super Bowl clock ticking too. You know what I mean? Hey, I got to keep my body fresh. I don't want to practice as much as I used to practice and all.
You had an injury.
One
more in they discard you.
It's a lot of stuff goes on when you got a veteran football team. On top of, I'm only going to play 1, 2, 3 more years maybe. I need to try to make as much money as I possibly can. So now money starts to become first over the Super Bowls and winning.
That's it. Kittle, Trent, Christian. This is an old team.
Yeah.
By the way, Fred Warner's got a lot. Bosa. Yep. So I think the downside to San Francisco, and I said I love their roster, but this is what happens to old teams.
No doubt about it.
And especially old teams that don't have a trophy yet.
Yeah.
That adds a little dimension to, we're not sure we're getting a trophy.
Yeah.
I'm at least getting out of the sport with the money.
Yep. And that's why this is a difficult situation, not only for the Niners, but for Trent. I don't have no more guaranteed money after this year. I want to make sure I'm good financially, guaranteed money, injuries or anything happens. And the Niners don't even sniff or get back to a Super Bowl without Trent Williams on that offensive line.
Question.
So Brandon Ayuk, I understand you're holding out and all that, but Brandon Ayuk should be calling Trent Williams right now saying, you couldn't have did this after I got my money, because now this pushes me back. Because I can't get Brandon Ayuk money, and then now I'm trying to figure out, scratch and call, how to give Trent money. Trent has to get his money first, because we're not the football team that we want to be can be without Trent.
Their winning percentage drops
all the way
precipitously when Trent doesn't play.
And it's crazy because a lot of people think like the San Francisco 49ers offensive line is good. No. Trent is good. Well, Trent is great. So it overcomes a lot of that stuff, but they don't have a dominant offensive line. You have a really young quarterback who depends on Trent. That's why when he's not in there, it's a lot more pressure. It's hard to get the ball out of your hands. It's difficult. So Big 7-1, he has to be out there, figure out the money, figure out the guarantee, and then hopefully they can work something out with Ayuk.
I said this. When you work at a big company and you have a big position, it could be, it could be Exxon, it could be Meta, it could be Apple. If you have a big position and make a small mistake, I mean, the president could make a small mistake. A president gets beat up. If you work for a small company, the Tampa Bay Rays or the Jaguars, you can make a huge mistake. Nobody cares. So I made this argument that the two biggest brands in the NFL currently are the Cowboys and the Packers. And Mike's the only guy in the league that's coached both. So when he has a bad fourth down call, he gets killed for it.
Every time.
So go look at Mike McCarthy. You could say he's never won the big game. Oh, yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
Has 11 playoff wins. That's what Parcells has. He has a top 10 offense. Top 5 offense 10 times, a number 1 offense 4 times. Favre was old and grumpy and ad-libbing, won with him. Aaron was gifted, but at the end got prickly, won with him. And Dak's good, not special, and he led the NFL in offense. So my take is, with McCarthy, had he coached the Jaguars and the Texans and had the same record, we'd consider him a magician, a wizard.
He'll have a statue in front of the stadium.
But the Packers, we watch their games. The Cowboys, we watch their games. So when you butcher a fourth down call, which, by the way, this was the knock on Andy Reid forever. We didn't love his situational football. Then he got Mahomes and nobody cared. So I said, if you look at the records, our staff put this together. If you take out Brady and Mahomes and anybody who coached them, this and now McCarthy's playoff records is 11-11.
Yeah.
It is in line with the all-time greats, except Belichick and Andy because they have the two best quarterbacks ever. And my argument is Mike is a bit of a victim of making small mistakes with huge brands.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is spot on, man, because I'm out here every single day fighting for my life for Coach Mike McCarthy. When I hear people say certain coaches is better than Coach Mike McCarthy, I'm like, are you kidding me? And these are the numbers right here that show it.
Don Shula is supposed to be the best coach ever.
All these dudes got streets and statues and all that named after him, and Tomlin will have one too. But it's just crazy that I don't like the disrespect that Coach Mike gets. You come into an organization with the Green Bay Packers who were terrible when you got the job. I want to say 4-12 when you got the job, whatever it may be. You come in there with Brett Favre, you go your first season average, you go to the NFC Championship and you 13-3. Then you go on to win a bunch of games, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, back to NFC Championship games, 15-1 seasons. Then you go to the Dallas Cowboys, and in 3 years, you go 12-12-12, something that has never been done.
4-1 with Cooper Rush.
4-1 with Cooper Rush in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. And I understand, man. Listen, whoever comes to the Dallas Cowboys, they have this target on their back because you ain't been to the NFC Championship in 30 years. Well, Coach Mike only been there 3 years, and he's had you with an opportunity in the playoffs to have a chance to compete. He ain't been there 30 years. He can't erase that 30 years. But in 3 years, he has 12-12-12 back-to-back in the postseason, division titles, and we sit here and talk about Mike like he's not a good coach. For certain situational calls, it's crazy to me. It really is crazy to me. Yeah. They need to put more respect on Coach Mike's name.
It really is remarkable. If you're watching on television, we put up all these coaches and just take out Andy and Bill. Don Shula was considered the best coach in his era and had Dan Marino. What's his record? 19-17. So it's just take a deep.
And that's the thing, too, though. Like, you need a really good quarterback to win at a high level in this league. You do, especially if you're talking about Super Bowls. We talk about Andy Reid as one of the greatest coaches ever now because he's winning Super Bowls. But he has arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. When he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, he had really good quarterbacks in Donovan McNabb.
I worked at another network. I spent years defending Andy Reid in Philadelphia. I'm like, this is the most clever coach in the league. I got nothing but pushback. I'm like, he's getting them to the NFC Championship with B- quarterback play. You understand it doesn't work that way in the league.
And then he gets a really good quarterback, and it equals take you over the hump to the Super Bowl.
You know a lot about Green Bay, and I was talking to somebody that covers the Packers the other day, and I said, for 3 years, we had more video on Bigfoot than Jordan Love.
Yeah.
And then his first 5 games, he was kind of awful. And he had an 8-game heater last year. Why? Well, what do you think? If a wide receiver came into the league and had the drops, Cooper Kupp his first year had drops. And you could say,
that happens.
You still like. But we all knew he was getting open a lot. He was a great route runner. Young receivers can struggle, but you can go, that's going to work.
No doubt.
5 weeks in, I wasn't sure.
We were all scratching our heads.
I didn't think it was going to work. Your sources, your friends close to Jordan Love, what's flipped?
Well, so the main thing was it was peanut butter jelly. It was real plain first 5 weeks, right?
You kept saying that.
Yeah, let's try to get this
Let him loose.
Yeah, let's try to get this young fella, acclimated to the game, the speed of the game. Let's condense this plan, you know what I mean? And that wasn't helping him because when you condense a plan and you have a defense that's throwing all this stuff at you, a condensed plan on the offensive side is not going to help. Your first read is not going to be there. So now what are you going to do? Coach LaFleur opened the playbook for Jordan Love. Okay, man, you've been around under Aaron for a couple years now. You've been in my system for a couple years now. Why am I dumbing this thing down? You know the plays like the back of your hand. You've been in it. Yeah, you haven't had a lot of game experience, but you have ran these plays. And he opened the plan up. And once he opened the plan up, then Jordan Love started to take off. And when Jordan Love started to take off, Jordan Love started to get more comfortable, and then Jordan Love started to play outside the X's and O's.
And that's kind of I contend he's more Favre than Aaron.
No doubt. No doubt.
Aaron was very precise. Jordan's not always precise. Favre wasn't always precise. By the way, Mahomes' early years wasn't precise. A lot of these guys are paint by numbers.
Yep.
Brady was a lot of that. That's okay.
Yep.
But a lot of these guys, it would be like telling Kobe Bryant, there's 4 plays you can run.
Yeah.
You're taking an artist and saying, you got to stay, spilling paint.
Can't do that.
You know what I mean? Like Randy Moss sometimes, I'm like, fella, get open.
Yeah. Can't do that. Or with Randy Moss, hey, I am open, even if it's 3 people. Throw it up over there, and I'll make you right. And I think that's what Jordan Love did, especially that 8-game span. He let Coach LaFleur know, no matter what play you call, I got it, and I'm going to play outside the X's and O's. When you watch Jordan Love play, it's so many plays that you could touch on, and you could be watching him play, and you could say, oh, my goodness, this dude is going to be like that. And I think that playing outside the X's and O's, once he got comfortable and started to take off, that's what you've seen. And you started to see a young superstar emerge. Jordan Love is going to be a really good football player. But early in the season, it was really, really plain. And you cannot do that. I understand you're trying to slow it down. But I don't know if people understand. When you're in training camp and you're putting in install 1, right, for offense, it's like 6, 7 plays, really plain, right? The defense already got cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, all that in, right? So as an offense, we're coming out there and we like always the first couple days of training camp, the offense looks terrible because we are really playing and you guys have a lot of stuff in already. Once we start catching up, we in install 5 now. We got these bunch formations and these motions and all that, and y'all got to talk and communicate and do all that. Then we start having extra days. So, with Jordan Love, it started out really plain. Once Coach LaFleur said, okay, eventually we got to see if this dude could really do it, if he could really play, if we're going to really give him this money. The playbook is yours. This is what we're running. This is the scheme for this week. Let's go. And the young fella took off.
So you've been in a lot of camps with Aaron Rodgers. Older quarterbacks, Favre, Rodgers, it's different in camp. Let's be honest. Out at this point, nobody really wants to practice. I mean, it gets tedious. Where do you think Aaron's at? Kind of in his mind, not to be a mind reader, but second year, off an injury, hasn't played for a while, getting older, tedious with camp, got some new teammates, new O-line. Is he in a good space?
I love this Aaron. I love this Aaron. I had a chance to talk to him, and he locked in now. He's locked in. I mean, all the doubters. Everybody saying
he love that?
Everybody saying he can't play no more. He ain't been to this Super Bowls. He should have accomplished this, should have done that. 4 plays in a Jets uniform. Just talking to him, man, you can tell that he is all the way locked in, that he has something to prove, a chip on his shoulder. And whenever I seen or talked to this Aaron Rodgers, buckle up. Buckle up. It's going to be a year. I mean, my man wants to practice. Talking to him, he still loves the game. Every time I'm talking to him, he talking ball, he talking football, he talking playing, he talking about his guys at the Jets, how good the receivers is, especially Wilson. And he's just super excited. And I'm like, you ready to go? He ready to go prove some people wrong. And I like this type Aaron, man.
Yeah, Penn State rookie left tackle. If that dude can play, they're good at tackle.
Man.
That's good for the quarterback psyche.
We talk about this all the time because – when you're walking into training camp, obviously as a competitor, everybody thinks we win in the Super Bowl. No. It's only a select few teams that can walk into this building and report and say, what up, everybody, and look around that locker room and look left and right and say, oh, yeah, we got a chance. And the Jets is one of those teams. There's only about 8 to 10 teams that really possibly has a chance to really host in that Lombardi Trophy and get into that game. The Jets are one of them teams. You look around that locker room on the defensive side of the ball, on the offensive side of the ball, the additions that they made. If this team stays healthy, they're going to be a really good football team.
So I always say there's 8 max and 3 close. So here's my Super Bowl bubble. My feeling is there's 8 teams that can win it, and then there's 3 that need things to go their way. And the 3 teams I think are close but need things to go their way are Houston, Cincinnati, Burrow's Health, and the Jets. I think the Jets O-line, they got a bunch of new faces.
You think Houston needs stuff to go right?
Boy, they're young. So my teams that I think should be favored. I think the AFC is better at the top.
Well, you got the Rams inside that song.
I think he thinks I'm crazy.
I do too. You have the Rams inside that circle. Now, I would put the Rams on the bubble, but I would put the Texans in there. So I don't know how you stop the Texans. I really don't. You got Tank Dell, who is going to be a baller. You already got a number one receiver in Diggs. You have a number 1B in Nico Collins. You have a really good tight end. And then you bring Joe Mixon, who can run and catch the ball out of the backfield on top of what you did on the defensive side of the ball. To be honest with you, everybody's saying, can CJ take the next step? If CJ's just the same, if he's just the same with this roster and what they have on offense and defense, they might beat Baltimore. They might beat Baltimore in that game if he's just the same. And we're not saying he's just going to be the same. He's going to get better. I really don't know how people stop Houston consistently. I'm not saying they're going undefeated, but I don't know how you stop them boys. They got too much over there. So I would put them in there, take the Rams out of there. You know what I'm saying? Was my Packers on there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you are smart.
Now look at.
Oh, yeah. We should be in the circle. We should be where the Niners are, though, like right in the middle, so we could, like, see.
All right. James Jones.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.